Hey there. So today I want to talk about Spotify playlists and whether it's a good idea to get your songs on them to promote your music as an independent artist. Now, first of all, I want to get the bad news out of the way, and that is to say that what I don't recommend doing is using paid Spotify promotions. These are typically people that might approach you, or you'll see adverts for them saying, "Oh, if you pay us, say, what, £50, £100, £200 or dollars, we will guarantee you X amount of streams or plays on your Spotify. We'll get you on this playlist." This is a very dangerous way of doing things because it will mess up your stats, it will drive your song popularity down, and it won't place your songs in the right areas. It will associate them with other songs that are not in your genre, for example, and also it's they use bots as well, typically, these companies as well, so that's a really bad idea to go down that sort of rabbit hole. Now the good news is that there are two other solid methods I've found, discovered for myself in the last few months through just trial and error, really, exploring what's out there. Now the first method of promoting your songs on Spotify playlists is to use a service such as Submit Hub or Groover. Now, on these websites, Spotify playlist websites, you can search for playlist curators, independent curators. You can search by genre to make sure you're getting your song in front of the niche audience that it wants, and you can approach them, and you pay typically $1, $2, $3, maybe $4, $5 or pounds to have them listen to your music and say if they want to add them to their playlist or not. Typically, the acceptance rates are between 5% and 20-25%. So you stand a fairly decent chance of getting songs onto a playlist if you play the game right. And one thing I would say when using Submit Hub and or Groover is that it's a good idea to think about the message that you send along with your song and personalize it to that playlist curator, because it shows that you've done your research into their playlist and that you really care about their playlist and what you're going to do and how your song fits into that playlist. So that's one method that has worked for me, and say I've got one or two song placements in the last few months using those services. Now, the other method would be to actually search Spotify itself. If you go into the search bar at the top of Spotify and say if you type in EDM playlist, and Spotify will return, if you then click on playlists as well from the results, Spotify will return a list of EDM playlists, and you could then look at who the curator is and do a Google search on them and see if you can find their Instagram page, because they might have the same photo in their profile picture, or have obviously the same name as well. So it requires a little bit more sleuthing and sort of Sherlocking along the way. But if you say I've had some joy using that method as well over the past few months, and got a couple of my songs onto a niche playlist. And say the joy of that again is that you can really get onto a niche playlist and get your song in front of the right audience, because that really is ultimately why you want to do this in the first place, isn't it? It's to get your music in front of the right audience, that niche audience that will love your music, will like your song that you put on that playlist and you submit to them, but will also be looking at ultimately you want them to come back to you for more, both play that song in itself multiple times, but also come and discover the rest of your music profile. And that's the joy of playlists, is that's a way of getting your music discovered by your niche audience and your niche genre for your music. So that's my advice, really. So I've had some joy, as I say, using those two methods that I've talked about today, the Submit Hub or Groover, and then searching Spotify for them. I had a song accepted by a curator on Groover last week, and I'm now getting 1 or 2 plays a day on that. So that's like, say 10 streams a week, something like that. They all add up. And then I've had a couple of songs accepted using the second method I told you about searching on Spotify for playlists itself on the actual Spotify web browser, or mobile, of course. and that's sort of a couple of songs on there. I get typically 2 or 3 streams a day sometimes. So they all add up, and I hopefully things will snowball for me from here on in. I'd be interested to see what you guys think out there to Spotify playlists, what success you've had, whether you've had your fingers burnt in the past with certain methods. Say, have you paid for sort of botted playlist streams, and what's been your experience of those? Let me know in the comments below, and love to hear about your experience of Spotify playlists. And yes, hopefully this has been of some use to you as well. Cheers, Ryan.